Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Explaining the Unexplainable. I'm one of your hosts, Josh. Our other host, Mercedes, hopefully will be joining us here momentarily, but tonight we have a very, very special guest. She's not new to this program, and she's not new to the Web Radio Network. Many of you all know her, some of you all may not. So tonight we're going to dig deep into her mind and her current things that she's got going on in her life, things that she's working on. And we just want to welcome her here tonight. Tonight we open the doors of explaining the unexplainable uh, to a woman whose life has been shaped by encounters that most people only whisper about. Becky McKiddy-Gydesen, and I hope I said your last name right.
You got it
All right,
perfect.
okay. 'Cause I'm being from the hills sometimes here in Eastern. You ought to hear me when I was in seminary doing Greek and Hebrew. That was horrible. I can barely speak English. But she's not merely a storyteller, she's a witness. Her experiences stand at the crossroads where the natural world trembles before the supernatural, where the unseen realm presses into the visible, and where ordinary people are forced to confront realities they never asked for but can no longer deny. Mercedes and I have spoken often about how the veil between worlds is thinner than most imagine. But Becky has lived on the threshold. Her journey, marked by encounters, investigations, and moments that defy conventional explanation, invites us to step into that thin place with her. And tonight, we're not just asking her to recount events, we're inviting her to help us understand what those events mean. To our listeners, imagine standing in a quiet room, the air still, the lights low. You think you're alone until something unseen brushes past you, or a voice whispers your name, or a shadow moves against the laws of physics. Well, Becky has walked into those rooms. She has asked the questions that most people fear to ask, and she has come out with stories that challenge the boundaries of belief. Becky, sister, we're honored to have you with us tonight. Your work, your experiences, and your courage have inspired countless people who are searching for answers in the dark. Now, before we dive deep, tell us, and I know that there are people that's familiar with you, but tell us, when did you first realize that your life would not be lived entirely within the realm of the explainable?
Well, I grew up knowing that there was more out there than others did. I was always raised in a different environment, I guess, and just more aware of things. Raised in a haunted house, raised with an older generation. So I learned a lot about, the respect and like as a child when I was in cemeteries. Like I was very aware to, be very respectful, try not to step on graves, so I always knew, even at a young age, that there was more out there and to be respectful to it and just kind of be aware, I guess.
Well, many of us have followed your journey for years, and one thing that stands out is your willingness to confront the unknown head on. And I want to ask you this: what was the moment that shifted you from being an observer to being an investigator of the supernatural? I know you told us about your background being raised in a haunted house, and uh, that's a good start. That's a good beginning. I mean, it's kind of like you're thrown into it, but what is one of the things that happened that caused you to go from just an observer to an investigator?
In all honesty, I don't really think I went looking for it. I think it came looking for me, because everything just kind of fell into my lap. It wasn't something I was expecting to do. It wasn't something that I really set out to do. I was curious about it, and I went searching for others that were curious about it. And then the next thing you know, I have a company and I'm a paranormal investigator. So it came to me.
Well, I can. I know where you're coming from. And it's the same way with me when I was called to be an exorcist. I did not want nothing to do with exorcist ministry or deliverance ministry. I just wanted to be a preacher. And, if I looking back over my life, when I was ordained as a priest, I never could see myself being a bishop or being an exorcist. I just wanted to be a priest that served in a local church as a pastor. Um, But it's amazing how God um, turns things around in your life and brings these things into your life, and it just happens, right? It's just
Yes.
something that happens. So I like how you said that it chose me. And when things choose you, you have no, uh, I mean, there's nothing you can do but acknowledge it and tell your story, share the things you've witnessed and experienced. Um, and I'm glad that you're on here with us tonight. Hi, Lorraine. I'm glad you're on here. Everybody that's listening tonight, thank you for joining us. Um, you know, I think of this, and I jotted this down before we came on tonight because I kind of wanted to make this a little bit more supernaturally, if you want to say it that way. And I wrote this little transition into our interview tonight, and I want to just start out with this. It says, "Picture this: a family calls you in because something in their home's moving objects, whispering at night and leaving them afraid to sleep. You walk in, and instantly the atmosphere changes. It's heavy, it's charged, and almost aware of your presence. Now, Becky, you've been in those moments. So let's talk about what happens next. When you get a call like that and people describe this scenario, what happens after that? What does it usually look like to you, and what does that entail?"
Oh, there's Mercedes.
Lady, she just
Hi.
appeared just like a ghost. We was getting ready to talk about ghosts, and she just appeared out of nowhere.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hi. Well, since Mercedes just popped on, I can actually use her as an example. We went out, to her place. We walked in. Um, I try not to let anything influence me. So even if someone's telling me it's, dark, it's evil, it's, whatever, some people have told me that they think it's their belated husband, but I try not to let things influence me. I walk in with an open mind, and I try to ease them. And I try to do the best I can to find the answers. And with Mercedes, she already knew what was going on. So she was a little bit different than most of my cases. But no matter what, though, I go in there trying to find proof. I don't want to just go in there, scare people. I want to try to ease them into knowing it's okay, what they can do. And there's been many times that I've been able to debunk things for them too. That's like my number one thing. And I've done that for many, many families. That was nothing paranormal. It was things that we were able to debunk. And, so that's what I do. Even if something feels heavy to me when I first walk in, I'm not going to tell them that. I'm going to try to find answers. I'm going to try to dig deeper. It could be their energy. They could be going through something bad, and that's what's putting it out there. So I really try to dig deeper and try to find answers, not only in the paranormal, but beyond the paranormal.
absolutely. We had a case one time back. It's probably been, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago now, where a family had reached out to us. And this is before podcasts and stuff were really big. This is way before the Order of Exorcists ever decided to do anything like we do now with the unseen realm. But of course, we had the internet back then. Um, and it wasn't as advanced as it is today. But we had a family reach out, and everybody in the house was experiencing symptoms of either demonic oppression and some demonic possession. And of course, the assessment we do is very detailed. We don't only do a medical evaluation, a psychological evaluation, and then we do an assessment of the home. We want to make sure that there's nothing in the home itself causing people to be symptomatic of obsession or oppression. Um, and even in the case of an infestation, and we had a team of people go in that were contractors, and they actually went throughout the house, done a thorough investigation. And when they went underneath the house, they found black mold. And when they cleaned up the black mold from out from under the house, the family got better. Nobody was having symptoms of possession or oppression anymore. So
Wow.
it had to do with the mold in the house. So things can be explained. Not everything's dark or demonic. Not everything's supernatural. Everything that goes bump in the night isn't a ghost. No matter what the late great Art Bell said, everything that goes bump in the night is not always. But I know.
That's interesting though that it was black mold that was
Yeah,
causing them to have that.
yep.
Becky,
So
have
that's
you
why when I
ever found?
train people, That's why when I'm training people, I tell them, make sure you do a thorough investigation.
Right.
Um, because, if it's some kind of mental health issue and you do an exorcism, it could cause psychosis. It could cause people to become depressed, suicidal. It could have a reverse effect. So you got to make sure that you cross all your T's and dot all your I's.
Yeah.
Becky, did you ever have that problem that you found it was mold or something like that in your cases?
Not necessarily mold, but we have found like electrical issues. So that would cause the high EMF fields, which was causing them to feel watched. We also had a situation to where it was the fact that, more of playing with the mind, like where the beds were situated and where, clocks were situated. And it was just giving like the off feelings. So we have found things that, have been, electrical or, things like that. But luckily I haven't ran into mold because I would not want to be around that to begin with. But no, a lot of electrical stuff, high EMF fields are really, really bad and can really influence people. And I've had a lot of people that will even tell me, and I'm trying not to sound rude. I know I kind of laughed a little bit, but they would tell me that they have portals in certain areas, but when we go and check it out, it's their electric boxes for the house in those areas. And so we're having to try to explain to them it's not a portal. You're not, it's because of all that high EMF that you're feeling that way. But yeah, a lot of times that's what I find the most is, they need electricians to fix those high EMF problems.
Wow. I don't know if Bishop Joshua did this or knew this, but Becky had a birthday just a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Happy
So,
birthday.
yes,
You know, I would sing happy birthday to you in the style of Elvis Presley, but my voice isn't what it normally is tonight. So thank you very much.
thank you very much.
I can sing it to you. He's got a great voice.
Well, I hope you had a good birthday. Did you have a fun day, or was that the day the trampoline went into your yard?
No, luckily it wasn't. My birthday was actually last Friday. It was on the 10th.
Okay.
The trampoline went in my yard on, I think it was Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, that horrible storm. It was like 80 miles per hour wind, I think, and it was just like all of a sudden we had a free trampoline. It was broken, but it was bad. It was really bad. But, I had a simple birthday. I spent it, with my family and we did a couple things over the weekend. My girls and I went out and did some shopping and, stuff like that. So, the older you get, it doesn't have that, element of surprise, I guess.
That's true. I'm like ready. Just go on, just past the birthdays. It's all right. Bye bye.
Well, it's just amazing because, you kind of stay the same age and your kids just get older. So,
That's
sooner
true.
or later your kids get older than you.
Well, I'm sorry I came in a little bit late. But I did want to kind of check in with you because I know I was in the store today and saw Halloween is already out.
Yes.
And so I know the Halloween.
Already in July?
Yes.
I was like, okay. What
Pretty
month
soon
is
you'll have
this?
Christmas stuff out too.
I don't want to see the Christmas yet. I'm like, can we get one holiday at a time, please?
Well, so when Halloween comes around, that's kind of, that's when things start changing for you. Do you have any plans? I know usually you have things going in Tombstone and downtown Tucson and different things.
Actually, this year is going to be my last year doing Tombstone. I decided that the travel, I don't want to do that travel anymore. It's like an hour and 15 minutes, and depending on traffic, and they've been doing all that construction on I-10, so it takes a lot longer. And with the prices of gas lately, I was just like, I'm giving up Tombstone after this year. So December will be my last month doing Tombstone.
Wow.
I'm hoping to find more places in Tucson, but we shall see. I do have my walking tour, and that usually picks up. I do have the one ghost hunt here in Tucson that I do every month at JoJo's. But we do have our special event in October, which is the night of the museum. and I love working with the historical society out here. I, love the history. I love museums. So I get to work with them again on October 17th. So that's exciting. And I love Halloween. Halloween's like my favorite. I'm a Halloween girl. I have more Halloween decorations than I do Christmas decorations. So
And
Well, it's
and so
Halloween here. It's Halloween here every day at my house. Not because of the things that pass us through here. Things that I have to battle with. Things that we battle with on the way to work too. My cousin and I, while we were praying the rosary this morning on the way to work, we entered a part of the highway, and terrible spiritual battle we entered into. But the Lord always wins. The light always overcomes the darkness. So. But yeah, I ain't seen the decorations yet, but I do like the Halloween candy. I tell everybody that the candy's my favorite thing, and I'm going to start a new club this year. It's called the 5x5 Club. You can't join it unless you're 5 foot tall and 5 foot round. So that's what that candy does for me.
It's so funny. Well, I'm sorry you had some some spiritual warfare on the way to work this morning, but
Oh, it's every day. It's
every
some days I
day.
wake up because of what we do. People put hexes, curses, vexes on us, and you got to get up and do like that song says, shake it off, move on. You got so much
Yeah.
to do, and it's all part of the warfare. I've been doing this for nearly 4 decades now, and it's just part of it.
So that this reminds me of what is all this stuff? Something's happening. It's weird around here. Something just fell. Strange. So Becky, speaking of spiritual warfare and things like that, so you have to go out and be, around even here. I think the first time you came here, you went home and it was difficult because when you first came here, it was really pretty bad. So how do you personally deal with the things that when they follow you home or hang at your house? I know there was one spirit that was just that when I came over to your house one time, you said, "Yeah, there's he's out just outside the window," just things like that. How do you handle that?
it depends on the spirit. If, I don't feel like it's mean or vicious or anything like that, I just let it be. If it's like giving me nightmares or messing with my kids, then I will, put my foot down, tell it, you can or can't do that. If it continues, then I do a blessing of my house. I always have, it's funny because I have this at my desk. I actually have like this little potion that I make up, and I go around and I bless my house. It has holy water and some other stuff in it. And that seems to work. So I just I do what I can. Sometimes just talking to them helps. I've done a prayer for them before, and that helped, and they crossed over. So it just depends, and a lot of times they don't stay here very long. So they'll like come visit me and then leave. But the only one that I've had around for like a long, long time was when I first started. And my kids nicknamed him Richie
Yeah, I
because
remember.
yeah, everyone like interacted with him and everyone saw him, and I think he left because he got tired of the kids blaming him for everything because the kids would blame him whenever something broke or anything. So I think that's why he left, because he was the longest that stuck around.
So why Richie? Why the name Richie?
That's what my kids called him. I don't
Okay.
know. Yeah, they're the ones that came up with the name. They were all young at the time. I think the oldest was like maybe 16, and they're all like 4 years apart. But they're the ones that came up with the nickname Richie. And
Okay.
everyone saw his shadow. Everyone would like hear weird things in the house. And they're the ones that came up with that name, and it just kind of stuck. And they started literally like blaming him for things. Like if something would break, and I'd be like, "What was that?" And right away they'd be like, "Richie did it." And I'm like, sure, blame the ghost.
It
Blame
reminds
this
me of
blanket.
a Sonic commercial. This ghost had ordered his food, and it came out during a Halloween, and he was eating a burger, and this cop come up to him, And she said, "Hey, listen, we got a call that there was a ghost out here rattling chains." And then it showed a guy. The camera panned over to the parking lot, and this guy had headphones on and was singing and moaning and had chains in his hand rattling. He said, "Okay, yeah, and just because I'm a ghost, you automatically assumed it was me."
That's silly.
Good little commercial. I remember that. That was back in the 80s. I think it was 80s. I don't remember. It's been a long time ago. It was cute.
That was, I can't, when you think about the 80s, that was a long time ago. How did that go so fast?
Well, so was the 90s now. You know, the 90s was a long time ago now.
I know. All of it's a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Of course, we're older than Becky, though.
I don't know how much older you may not be. Do you even know how old? Not a lot of people know how old I am, which is funny.
I don't know how old you are. I just assume it's way younger than me.
So. Probably not. I will probably surprise you, and you probably. A lot of people do not know my age. It's not something that I've really ever talked about.
Yeah.
But Dave and I, this will give you a hint. Dave and I were talking at our investigation last night, and we were talking about things we grew up with. And we were talking about, sea monkeys, which my daughter had no clue what sea monkeys were.
Love them.
I remember sea monkeys.
We were talking about big wheels. We were talking about...
I know big wheels.
I've killed many sea monkeys and big wheels.
Wow. So Dave, you mean Dave, the Dave?
Yes, he's back on my team.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's awesome.
So big wheels, sea monkeys are 80s.
Yeah, we were
that
talking
sounds
about
like a song, a country song, maybe.
And you got to throw My Pet Monster in there and My Buddy and Kid Sister. Remember them? My Buddy, the little, that was.
Yep, I remember.
For some reason, I don't remember My Buddy.
I had one. I had My Pet Monster too.
My Pet Monster, I remember. But I'm older than you too. But I don't know how old I am I'm not telling anybody either. Wait till 10 years from now, then I'll tell people.
I feel 25 in my mind, but my body feels about 150 today.
No.
I've got an ingrown toenail. Melissa tried to cut it out the other day, and she kept squeezing my toe. I think she was getting some kind of enjoyment out of it.
Oh, no, that's
every
terrible.
Time she'd squeeze it, I'd jerk. I think she likes to see me cry. I don't know.
All right, Melissa. Better stop that. So how is Dave going to be coming onto your podcast, Everything Under the Moon?
I'm still co-hosting it with Kira, but, he knows he's welcome to do anything, with me that he wants to. He came back a couple months ago. Because of the fact that I'm working on my second book and I'm really low on team members right now, I had decided to put an offer to some of my past team members out there asking if they wanted to come back part-time. Because full-time's a lot, because you got to do the research, you got to do reviews, and there's just so much behind the scenes that people don't know. So I asked people, do you want to do part-time? And the only thing you'll have to work on is cases that you actually go on. So I had put out the invite to a couple people. Dave was one of them. So he said, yeah, I'm actually available to come back. So he's back on the team, but he's more like doing it full time and as a cameraman. So
awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome. And I hope I don't know. I really like a lot of those. All your teammate members that came out here were always so nice. And there were so many of them. Speaking of which, I might as well bring it up. So I don't know if you've seen the documentary yet, but you are in the documentary Shadows of the Desert, the Sacred Land of Arizona, which is now out on Relay and soon to be out on other streaming platforms. I'm just waiting for the word for those. But I just wanted to say thank you, Becky, for everything you've done for the family, for my family, for our land. And personally, I think it was awesome. Every time I see you, I'm like, yes, that's Becky, and because I watch the documentary all the time. And I just think it's great. So I hope people do see it, because then they see you. They see, I was just film. She wouldn't let me film her very often. But then when I did get to film her, I could come in and film like when she's telling us some of the things, that they found, or Joe would be in there and I'd kind of film him, and then we'd be listening to things. And so that's this other footage, which I'm also, a lot of that is going to be in the second one, which I'm working on now. And so you'll see more behind the scenes with Becky, and you'll see I don't know, it's more about the paranormal aspect of what happens and what she was doing here. So in a way, I think the other one covered the history and the land, and all the different stories of others that were in our neighborhoods, and people like that. And so then we kind of touched on what Becky was doing here, what Bill Bean did here, things like that. So I think, but when I watch the footage with you, Becky, I just love it. And then there's parts where the first time when we're talking, I think it was on my show, it was either Unveiling Mystery or the Mercedes Lucke Benedict show, and I had you on. It was like days after the first time you came. And so then it was very fresh, and you can see me. I'm so glad I film everything, because I'm like, wow, I was upset, wasn't I? When you look back at it 4 years ago, and then you see my reactions or things like that. It's so crazy. Like Becky it's been since 2021, I guess. And so you see us in different ways, like 2021 or 2022 to Becky's in 2023. And so we have this variety of looks. Becky kind of always stays the same. I seem to have changed up and down in weight and back and down. My hair, I have like 15 looks in the film. And so, but it's neat because it really takes us on a 4 or 5 year period of time. And so I don't know, Becky, I just really appreciate you and all the help. And I swear to God, if it was just me here, I'd still have it all. I'd have you all here probably, where it'd be like this whole like team thing all the time and researching. But it's like with the family, it's kind of hard to do that. When the land is pretty settled right now, everything's really kind of calm all the time. And I really want that from my family, but it was such a great experience to have all of you. And I'm telling you, Bishop Joshua, her team, oh my gosh, there's one time that like a first several times, it was like 20 people. I don't know. It wasn't like that many. It felt like there was like, it felt like 20, but there was a lot. It was they had everything, all kinds of equipment, running cords everywhere, all the way around, film cameras. They're in the shop, film cameras on the front porch where all the activity was, film cameras over here, and it was a big deal. She has a lot of equipment. She knows she's good at what she does. And so every time you try to say, I'm going to maybe not do this anymore, I'm like, yeah, but you're good at it, Becky. All right, I said enough.
Well, I thank you. And, there's been a lot of times that I've thought about quitting, but I never do. So who knows? I might be doing this the rest of my life. I might not be. Who knows?
Just take it one day at a time, right?
Yeah.
And so even if those people that come in and they take over the towns, and they, take over the normal people that own the regulars here, and we know what I'm talking about, right? The ghost hunts that are, big money. They come into town, and then they take the people that, like Becky's ghost hunts, away. But someday, they won't keep going. That's what I think, that eventually that'll just kind of peter out in a way. But you always have the investigations. And I think that no matter what, that's one of the things, that you're helping people. So you did help us. So, I mean, I verify that.
Yeah.
A lot of that bigger stuff, smoke and mirrors anyways. It's just, It's Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've dealt with the Hollywood before. I've been approached by Hollywood before, and um, literally I have been, and they wouldn't accept what I was willing to give because I won't fake anything. I won't exaggerate. I won't make up stuff. So Hollywood doesn't like me.
That's okay. Because they want to change everything. So they want to
That's
tweak it. They want to, like you said, they want to make it, more presentable for TV, and they want to make it fake because that puts people behind the screen and people's butts in seats when they go to the movies to watch it. So yeah, I'm not for that either. The whole Hollywood thing.
No,
But I'm old fashioned too, so.
me too.
I just like I've been like I always say I watch a lot of Missing 411 and the interviews like when he just does this normal interview it's just him, but lately I've been watching him with one person and I'm like I'm stuck, I'm mesmerized for an hour, no camera changes, just two people talking, and it takes you through a gamut of emotions. They don't need big Hollywood, it's our, I think that's what we need more now is just conversation. I mean, Alfred Hitchcock, some of those things that Alfred Hitchcock did, he would film. Did you ever see Lifeboat? Lifeboat is filmed in one boat and it just never, it's a play
Oh
almost.
yeah.
And so, but it's great. And I think that, what Becky does when she has her ghost hunts and things like that, she's doing the real history of the town and
Hmm.
she knows the real history. It's not like, I mean, she's there in it, you know? And you used to, that kind of came from Bisbee, right? Bisbee's very haunted, but you ended up tell that story, Becky. It's such a great story how you ended up being part of the Tucson Ghost Society and all that.
Well, getting my company, and I was talking a little bit about this earlier, how it basically came to me. I didn't go looking for it. Um, the only thing I did go looking for was, I was curious. I found the show Ghost Hunters on TV. And up until I found that show, I didn't even know that people talked about ghosts. I was basically told I was insane for believing in it. Um, and I saw the show Ghost Hunters, and I was like, wow, people do this, and learned that people do ghost hunts and ghost tours. And so I went on a search for that. That's what I wanted to do. And I did find one in Bisbee. I found a ghost hunt in Bisbee, and got a couple friends together, went on a ghost hunt. I remember so clearly too that ghost hunt that we did. Nothing would go off unless I would talk. So every spirit wanted to interact with me that night. They didn't want to interact with anyone else. Uh, After I had bought, the owner of the tour had wrote a book. I had bought her book and I was reading it because I was like really into it, and I was reading it, and I learned about the Tucson Ghost Tour. And so I had contacted her and I asked her, hey, why didn't I hear of this? I want to take this tour. I live in Tucson. This is what I want to do.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, well, honestly, I don't have anyone to run it anymore. And I was like, hello, I will do it. I don't have problems with public speaking. I don't have problems doing that stuff. I kind of I had a childhood dream of being an actress that kind of fizzled out, but I was like, I don't mind. I'll run the tour. And she was like, no, I don't want you to run it. I don't want to own it anymore. And so I saw my hopes like fade away, and I'm like, okay, fine. I guess I'm never taking the Tucson Ghost Tour. And she came back with, I'll sell it to you. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'll sell you the rights to the tour, and then you can do whatever you want with it. And I'm like, let me think about this. Because at the time I was raising 4 kids. I had 4 daughters at home, and I was going to college full time for wildlife conservation.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like, okay, 4 kids, full-time college students. Can I own a business too? I'm like, I don't know. That's an awful lot. But I talked to my husband, And one thing I will say about my husband is he's always been very, very supportive of this through thick or thin. He's always supported me through this stuff. And his one question to me was, will it make you happy? And I thought, and I was like, yeah, it would. And he goes, okay, buy it. So I bought the rights. And as soon as I bought the rights to that, it was like everything changed. It was like all of a sudden I had businesses contacting me saying, oh, you should bring the tour here. You should do this, you should do that. I had someone out of the blue that was just, someone I knew from Facebook, and I never even met them. They were just, Facebook buddies or whatever, say, hey, you want to do a podcast? And, started a podcast. It was just like everything literally came to me. It was like one thing after another. And things were going so good. And even, like I said, I even had television and stuff approach me. And everything was going great. And then COVID hit and everything went downhill and everything went bye-bye. And I've been trying to rebuild ever since then. And, we have nationwide things that have moved in, and it's been tough ever since COVID. But before that, everything was wonderful. That love everything. So
I remember, because we would talk about that too, because I lost everything, with my job, and so I remember us talking about that. But one of the other things I think back before that happened was even they would kind of come here. I mean, Dead Files was coming here, I guess, a couple of times. And there was a little bit more activity with the ghosts then. I think it was more of a heightened time. It seems like right now there is a lot of change happening with all those shows. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, do you think that some of that happened because of COVID too? Or did people just get tired of the ghost stuff?
I don't think the ghost stuff has ever really... I think, it does come in style and go out, but I think, someone always has that enthusiasm for it. I think, in all honesty, there's certain people that have gone mainstream that's kind of controlling things. And I think that's one of the issues, is that there are mainstreamers trying to control it. And then there are other people that are more into the 15 minutes worth of fame than the actual research and helping people. And like I said, that's why I got turned down, because of the fact that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the actual real stuff, the research, the actual helping of people, the actual, not faking anything. Let's not freak anyone out. Let's tell them the truth. And that even happened with my first book that I was supposed to write, and which is why I never ended up writing that one and did it on my own. Because it was more like, well, let's fake things. Let's, expand the story and go a little bit beyond truth. And I'm like, no. I can't do that. That's not who I am. And so I got turned down a lot because of the fact that I won't do that.
Yeah. That's so true. Who else? Bishop Joshua is Bill Bean. I can't tell you how many times Becky, Bill Bean, Reverend Bill Bean, he has done the same thing. And he's had all these offers, and they have wanted him to expand or to really not be what he is, staying true to what his integrity is. And that's too bad. And that's why I think you have to, you have to write your own book. You have to do things on your own. And the more you do it, the more God, let's face it, God's there. God, God creator is the one watching over all this. So they're the ones, they have our backs. If we're supposed to, be successful and things like that, it is maybe it's a stepping stone, ladders, keeping going. That's what it's been for me.
I think Will's trying to tell you that.
Oh my God. I will.
We thought he was a ghost for a second.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like what? Yes.
I saw his arm coming. I knew he was in the room, and then his little arm came in.
Now, I'll always say something nice about him, because he is a really good guy. You go out there, really good guy, and he's a good dad, and he's a good husband to you. He's so high. He knows it. He's like, Mercedes really liked me. I got a fan. There he is. See, look at him. He's strangling her.
Yeah, he's trying to strangle me.
Now we could enhance that story just a little bit now. The ghost came in. No, he's a good guy. He really is. I wish
Just
you
mess
guys
up my
didn't live
hair,
so
though.
far away. You live, I mean, literally, we're in the same area, but I mean, to get there, it's like it's almost an hour. It's just like me driving. Well, like you driving to Tombstone. It's almost an hour plus. Depends on the traffic.
Just
Yeah.
think how far it would take. Just think how long it would take me to get to you, where you guys are at. I mean,
I know.
over here on the East Coast,
Well, someday you're coming this way, right?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I got to go to
Good.
California. There's all kinds of places I've got to go to.
Well,
I got to
when you
go
do,
to
we'll get
Minnesota.
Becky. And when you do come, we'll go. We'll make sure Becky meets up, and we'll all get to hang out with you for a little while.
Yeah, we'll go get something to eat. I like to eat.
Maybe it'll be Halloween. We can get
Yeah,
Halloween
could be.
candy.
This is not a Halloween mask. This is a disclaimer. This is not a mask. This is me.
Oh my goodness.
I
Well,
always tell people though when we go out to eat. I used to tell them this after church. When I eat, everybody eats, and when I pay, everybody pays.
so
So
Becky, what else would you like to share with us? I know that in interviews we always just have all these questions, but what about you? What would you like to share? Anything particular?
Yeah. No, just to let people know, because I preach about this like all the time. This is like my major thing, is to make sure that you're shopping local, especially when it comes to, small little tour companies. You definitely want to do those that are local. They're the ones that pour their heart and soul into this. They're the ones that know the city the best. So I preach about that all the time. Support local little businesses, especially little tour companies. I'm always, like, I would love to do ghost tours and stuff. And whenever I go out of town, I try to find the local people, because I know that they're going to know the stories better. It's not going to be AI doing it for them.
Right.
Which is a lot of times that's what these people are doing, are AI things. But yeah, support local, shop local as much as you can. I know it's not always possible, but what was I just had a really loud thump in my room. I'm not sure if we're getting a storm or what, but
yeah, I mean, it's been weird how we get this little bursts of things.
yeah,
that's what happened earlier. It's like, what the heck? It's like, whoa. But so are you saying that do they use their phones for AI or they have a AI computer giving it, or
they're like, they're like getting on Google or something and saying, hey, write me this, or show me this, or whatever. The nice thing about my tour is basically all the buildings on my ghost tour I personally have investigated. I think there's only maybe one or two that I have not. But everything else I have personally investigated. So I have personal stories. I have actual evidence. So that's the nice thing about my tour. And then, like my ghost hunts, the ones at JoJo's, I've been doing that for the past like 13 years. That's how long I've had this company for. So I know the spirits there. They know me there. They're very comfortable with me. So it's something I enjoy doing. It's something that I hope I can continue doing. It's not always easy, but I like doing this. And right now I'm working on my second book. So I'm trying to get in other locations so I can write about them. And we've got a couple that we've already done. And I'm hoping to get into more, but that's kind of difficult right now because I think some people have bad thoughts about investigators because, there's some groups out there that, don't take this seriously or call everything, demonic or, go in and trash places. So it's kind of hard sometimes to get into places because of that. But we're trying. Last night, we actually did a really awesome one. We worked with another paranormal team up in Mesa. We went to the Mesa Haunted Museum.
Wow, I didn't know there was a haunted museum there.
Yeah, there is. And it's really cool. We went in there and we had a few personal experiences, and I already went through my evidence because I'm leaving town soon. And we got a couple, really cool things from there. I always find it funny because spirits are attracted to me. It seems they do like to mess with me, and do things with me. And last night I did get my butt touched. Um, So I was like, yeah, I was talking to the other investigator. I'm like, is that something that's common? And she goes, yeah, I'm sorry if they were inappropriate. And I'm like, I'm used to it. I can't tell you how many times I've been pinched on the butt when I go to investigations. It's funny and it's not funny at the same time, but it happens a lot to me. I don't know why.
It is, I just think it's very interesting, the whole thing of how spirit world works. And I don't know. I just think I think it's good that there's good investigators out there like yourself with integrity. And I know you mentioned JoJo's, and so I believe it was just last year, maybe even close to Halloween, where you were actually on the news, or they
Yes.
did like a report with you at that restaurant. Wasn't that
Yeah.
just like, was that at Halloween time or?
Yeah, I think it was last year. And
Yeah.
yeah, JoJo's is also another locally owned place. So I love working with them because of the fact that they're local too. But they've been so supportive of me. They literally started working with me like a month or two after I gained the rights to the tour. And they're like, start your tours here, and you can do ghost hunts here. And they've always been very welcoming. They've always been very kind. Um, they've been supportive of me for the past 13 years. I love them to death. It's an outdoor restaurant. They have a cantina and they have a bunch of little shops there. So if you're ever in Tucson, it's like the shops, a lot of things have like local artists and local beer and local wine. So it's like everything's local to them. And one thing I also love about JoJo's is the fact that whenever anyone goes in there asking about the ghost stuff, they refer everyone to me. They're like, you need to talk to Becky. You go to Becky. She'll know all about it.
Yeah, and I don't believe I've seen any other person in town that does represent the ghost community. I mean, there is nobody else, so it's really you. So I mean, if you think about how big that is compared to all the places, it's not just Tucson. I mean, we've got the Marana area. We have, up in Oracle, all these surrounding areas. There is nobody else, and that's just a few. Nobody else is representing the haunted other than Becky. I mean, that's big.
Yeah, yes.
It is, actually, it is.
I've never seen anybody from Phoenix either, really.
Well, there's plenty of other teams and there's plenty of other people. Usually, it was funny because when I first started all this, and I personally would do the tours, I don't do the tours now because I do the ghost hunts instead. But when I used to do the tours downtown, it was funny because people started calling me the ghost lady. They would be like, "Oh, look, there goes the ghost lady." So I kind of got used to that name. But it's cool. I like being known as that. It doesn't bother me. So
Yeah, and so now I even think though that I don't know personally from when I go down there, because I used to live close to that area in downtown. I worked there a lot. Steve Swidler's office was just like, right up the road pretty much. So I was always in that area. But now when I go there since the pandemic, it does seem like, I don't know, I would be kind of scared to walk around at night unless you had a lot of people protecting you. It's a lot, it's different.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you have to. And how does that work, like when it comes? Oh, but you know what the thing is sometimes it might be a little cold at night, and then they leave you, they're not on the streets
Well,
because it's cold.
luckily, yeah, luckily my tours, we haven't ever really had any issues on my tour. I think like once or twice we've had like people come up asking for money, type thing. But luckily, it's actually safer than what it looks downtown. And there's a lot of cops down there now.
Good.
I remember when I first started my tour back in 2013, downtown was dead. Like it's changed so much since I've had this tour in the past 13 years. I think I felt more nervous back then because of the fact that there was like no one on the street. So it was really, really spooky and you never knew who was waiting around the next corner. But now there's so many people down there, and I don't. I think it's more safe because of the fact that you always have people around now, so you don't really have to worry as much as you did back in the day.
Oh, that's good.
I've seen downtown change a lot, and literally when I first started this, there was like nobody down there. It didn't really have a life like it does now.
How many people live in the city?
I don't live in the city. Well, I guess technically I'm in city limits, but downtown, actually, I really do believe that the housing in downtown has like built up a lot. So I have no clue how many people live in the downtown area now. But when I first started, there wasn't much housing down there. Now there's a ton of apartment places down there, like a ton.
Yeah, and it's the college, like the college, Bishop Joshua. They and in a way, it's a good thing because they've cleared out some of the areas that where either nothing was there, and then they put some nice places like restaurants, and then so there is a lot more people that came in.
What city is that?
In Tucson.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Tucson.
So she does the Tucson, and then but she goes to Tombstone, which is one of the places you would love. I love Tombstone. It's so fun to go. It's always so hot though. I like to go when it's cool. It's in the winter.
We're in Arizona now. I'm joking.
Yeah, I love the Wild West. As far as I got, I was in Oklahoma when I was in the Army. I like the way I like where it's hot. I don't like to get cold. It gets cold up here in the Northeast, but I like to be where it's nice and warm. But you know what? My family stayed here in this area because it reminded them of Scotland. So it is what it is. I think it says here on the internet there's 548,000 to 550,000 residents in Tucson. And then in the metropolitan area, there's 1.4 million residents in the metropolitan area.
And there's only one Becky. That's pretty good. I mean, if you think about that, I mean, there is nobody else representing the ghost community, the ghost company.
Not my company.
I know, but it's like all the ghosts are company to themselves. So, I mean, I think it's pretty neat, and I support local. You're here on this show. We're supporting you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you coming on tonight. I really do. Sorry I was late.
Oh, no, it's not a problem. Luckily, you got me on one of my days before I'm having to go crazy and get ready for my vacation. But I'm excited about my vacation. So,
are you going to Disneyland?
Of course. Where else would I be? I'm like, of course. We're adding Knott's Berry Farm this year, though. So
fun! Oh my god!
Yeah, my youngest daughter has a thing for Snoopy lately. She likes Snoopy, so we're taking her to Knott's, and they all want to experience other amusement park rides. So we're raised at Disney, and they're like, let's get some thrill rides. So we're going to Knott's. We'll see how they do. I think they'll do fine. They're, my kids. So I was raised on amusement park rides, so I got them trained well.
Well, that's good. Yeah. I mean, it's fun to go to the different places. I've been having fun going to California, and we went like twice already,
Oh, wow.
So because we went both times, we went to the just for things for the exhibit thing. So, but it's been fun there because the weather's so nice and the ocean's.
Yes. I love the ocean.
It's nice there.
I love water. I'm like, I am such a water person. That's my one complaint about Arizona is I'm in the desert. I want water.
Wow. Yeah. So you'll have to come back again after you get done with your big trip, and right before the big Halloween season, it'll be here any minute now. It's
I
in the
know. I'm
stores now,
excited.
so
I'm excited. I love Halloween. It's my
please.
favorite.
And tell Dave if he watches this. We're saying hi. I'm so happy that he's back with the company again because I thought he was awesome. Really liked him. I liked all of your people. I still like all your people. Bishop
Yes.
Joshua, do you have anything you want to say to end the show with Becky?
Well, it's always great to have Becky come on with us. She's always welcome here anytime she wants to come on, anytime she has something new going on to come and share. Um, you know, Anytime she wants to just come on and hang out with us and help us interview people, she's more than welcome to come on and hang
I
out.
know. We
I
should
think
do
it would be
that.
really cool. Yeah, it'd be cool. And I just want to say thank you, Becky, for what you do, and have fun on your vacation. Uh,
Thank you.
I know that when you go on vacation, it's you don't really want to come back home, but we know we got to, unfortunately. So make every day last forever while you're on vacation.
I try so hard.
Uh, but
All
be
right.
careful, be safe. You're in our prayers.
No, thank you. Especially with that California traffic.
Oh Lord, I know.
Oh my God. The last time we were there, we drove through LA. And I mean, I'm like, okay. It was like 5 hours and we didn't even move. It was
Yep.
horrible. I
Yeah.
don't ever want to go that way again, but maybe we have to. I don't know. I guess it's just what they do every day. I
Yep.
gotta say that those truck drivers, now that I've been around driving again, like out of this city area, truck drivers are pretty darn patient because they have to. I mean, every driver I saw along the line, along the ways, they were always just patient, nice. I didn't see any bad guys. They're all law-abiding citizens. It looked like.
Well, they get a bad rep because a lot of times accidents that happen with a tractor trailer is the person that cuts them off or gets in front of them's fault. I drove truck over the road for many years and never had an accident, thank God. But it's horrible. The things that, it takes the length of a football field at 50. I think it's 35 or 45 miles an hour to stop an empty tractor trailer. Empty.
Yeah.
So you can't just put on the brakes and stop, especially when you got thousands of pounds of weight behind you. So, and it's always the truck driver that gets the bad rap, and he always loses his job too. They try to say, well, he wasn't being safe enough, and that guy's just trying to make a living for his family. And he's trying to get back home.
Right.
So
Yep.
Well, I'm shouting out to the truck drivers out there because think they're awesome. Because
we love
it's
the
the
truck.
others that are crazy.
We come home from Connecticut, and I brought Melissa down through New York because she'd never been to New York City, and Elijah slept the whole way. And she was sitting on the edge of her seat. How in the world do these people drive like this? I said, honey, it's New York. You just got to get used to it. I've driven through there many times, and, it is what it is. You just got to drive like the locals, Mercedes. If
Oh,
they're
that's what Joe
tailgating,
says.
you get on their butt too. And,
Joe, is that you?
you honk the horn, they'll tell you you're number one or whatever. They'll give you the sign of.
I'm letting Joe come talk real quick because that's what
Joe.
he says. I'm just driving like the local.
Hi.
Look at
Hey,
Becky.
Becky. Joshua.
You got to
Joe.
get up over
Yeah,
my
oops.
nose.
There we are. I am. Yeah. Yeah.
did you
Just
have
driving.
fun?
I'm just going with the flow.
Even
Driving.
if it's 100,000 miles an hour, I'm going with the flow.
Well, it's safer that way. Just go with the flow, man.
We're saying goodbye to Becky. That's what we had. We had a good show with her. Do you have anything you want to say about Becky and how awesome she is?
Becky, you're awesome. I love you. You are awesome.
Thanks,
He means
guys.
that to me.
And you too, Joshua.
I love
Holy
you
cow.
too, Joe.
Bless you both. And I
Bless
love
you, my
too.
brother.
Well, we love you too, and so does that guy right there, that
That little
creepy
creepy-
and the big dinosaur.
Awesome. Love you all.
All right, you guys, thank you so much, Becky. You'll have to come back again. We'll get you. I'm going to plan this one, though. Because I told you I'm making a schedule out. So we'll get you on when you're ready to come back. That'd be great.
I appreciate that. Yeah. No problem.
Right. Thank you. Well, thank you all very much. And Bishop Joshua, do you want to say good night for us?
Yep.
I'm over
Good
here
night, everybody.
sweating.
Thank you for joining us tonight on Explaining the Unexplainable. For everybody that watched tonight, for everybody that's been part of the show, and everybody that will watch, we just thank you for joining us tonight. We pray that God bless you and your families, and that you have a good night tonight. Goodbye.